Faith Kipyegon was the huge favourite for victory going into the women's 1500 metres final at the Tokyo World Championships. She already had 3 world titles to her name, alongside 3 Olympic gold medals, and had set the world record in this event multiple times, most recently earlier this year at the Pre-Classic. But the distance races at this championship so far had shown that she needed to be careful. In hot conditions in Tokyo, the favourites had appeared unwilling to push the pace, leading to French outsider Jimmy Gressier upsetting the Ethiopian and American favourites in the men's 10,000 metres, and the peerless El Bakkali being outsprinted by New Zealander Geordie Beamish, whose record in professional steeple races had read 15 races, 1 win prior to Tokyo. But Faith Kipyegon wasn't going to let the race go slow and leave things to chance here. Even with Gadaf Tsegay, the second fastest 1500 metre runner in the world this year, and Georgia Hunter-Bell, last year's Olympic bronze medalist, choosing not to compete, there were still enough women with potential to cause an upset. Australian Jess Hull was the obvious candidate, winning silver behind Kipyegon at the Olympics last year, and gamely battling to stay with her on the Diamond League circuit. Fellow Kenyan Nelly Chepchirchir was another threat, winning 4 of the 5 Diamond Leagues she entered this year, and even coming past a fading Hull to win the Diamond League final in Zurich, less than 3 weeks prior. And then we had the curious case of Dorcus Ewoi. Ewoi had been a relative unknown right up until the semi-finals in Tokyo, when she ran away from the rest of the field alongside Kipyegon with ease. Coming into this season, her PB over 1500 metres had been 4:02.90, not even good enough to qualify for the World Championships. But those times masked a big talent. Ewoi had been running in the NCAA for years, only turning pro at the end of 2023, and last year had been focusing on the 800 metres. She had run a decent race in her first ever Diamond League in Rabat in May, finishing 3rd, then had not raced again outside of Kenya prior to these championships, meaning almost no one had her as a contender. But her performance in the semis will have had Kipyegon's attention, and Faith wanted to make sure she wasn't surprised here. From the gun, Kipyegon went to the front and slowly wound things up. In a textbook display of running from the front as a favourite, she got quicker and quicker with every lap, tiring out the field while ensuring she kept enough energy for the final lap kick. For the first lap, she ran 64 seconds, with Jess Hull taking up position on her shoulder, and the other 2 Kenyans just behind. She increased the speed into the second lap, clocking a 63, while looking like she had plenty left to give. She turned the screw even further in the 3rd lap, ratcheting down to a 60.71, running unhindered on the front as Hull and Chepchirchir wasted energy battling for position and running wide to keep clear air ahead of them and prepare for a last lap burn-up. Going into the bell, it was still everything to play for, but Faith looked calm and controlled. She eased around the bend, then hit out with 300 metres to go, stretching her competitors to breaking point. Jess Hull has been here so many times before and tried to follow, putting everything in to stay with Kipyegon, while the other 2 Kenyans let a small gap open. Round the final bend it looked all over as Faith strode away with Hull tracking her. But as Kipyegon continued to accelerate into the home straight, Hull was going backwards. Suddenly Chepchirchir and Ewoi were gaining again, and with 50 metres to go, it looked like we were going to see Kenya sweep the podium. Ewoi eased by on the outside and ran on towards the most unlikely of silver medals, but Hull dug deep. With flashbacks of her blow-up in Zurich handing Chepchirchir the win, Hull refused to be beaten by the Kenyan again, throwing herself at the line and hanging on for bronze. But with all the action happening behind, no one got close to dethroning the magnificent champion. Faith Kipyegon might just be the biggest star in women's distance running, and proved once again that even at the age of 31, she is the best in the world in an event where youth is usually an advantage. She will be back later this week to attempt to add the 5,000 metre title to her collection, and that promises to be an epic race. In the 5,000 metre final, her good friend Beatrice Chebet will be waiting, and Chebet is looking more and more dominant. I'll be making a recap of that one too, so make sure you subscribe to my channel to catch what could be one of the most exciting races of this championships. It might be an unpopular take, but I actually think Chebet could have beaten Kipyegon today. She has only run one 1500 metre race since 2023, clocking 3:54 at the Silesia Diamond League, but has shown repeatedly that she has the fastest clothes in the world. And while Kipyegon ran her last 200 metres in 29.65 today, it's highly likely Chebet would have been on her shoulder and able to kick faster than that. I don't think we'll ever get a chance to see it. Chebet was in the crowd here today crying tears of joy as her friend won. But it's a race I'd love to see, and it would be a super exciting matchup. Let me know in the comments below who you think would win over 1500 metres between the two. And finally, Dorcus Ewoi's performance here deserves a special mention. Even though there was no shock winner today, her silver medal must rank as one of the biggest upsets of the championships. To go from never having broken 4 minutes for the 1500 metres at the start of the year to running 3:54 to finish second behind the greatest of all time is a monumental achievement. The depth in the 1500 metres is huge right now, so for Faith Kipyegon and Dorcus Ewoi to stand on top of the podium must make it a proud day to be a Kenyan. Thanks for watching everyone, and tune back in soon to find out how another race was won.